If you want to succeed on this assignment, you have to actually read the material. This is a common quote from my interviewee, Jessica Savela, an English teacher here at Mountain Lake Public High School. To set up this interview, I visited Mrs. Savela in her classroom on a nice Monday morning, and we made a plan to meet during her free period at school. I decided to interview Mrs. Savela because she was my junior high English teacher, and I really enjoyed her class, as do most other students as well. She really inspired me to pursue a career in teaching. My interview with her went great, and I'm excited to share with you what I learned from her about what it takes to be a teacher. Let's dive right in. Mrs. Savela's passion for teaching began when she was an assistant to her English teacher in high school. This role as an assistant planted a seed that has grown and developed into an ongoing love for teaching and English that continues still today. Her English teacher inspired her just as she has inspired me. Mrs. Savela's average workday includes the typical teacher tasks: planning, teaching, and grading. She has to make sure that all of her lessons for each of her classes are planned out and prepared ahead of time. Next, she has to teach her lessons to her class in a way that is understandable to everyone in the class. And finally, no matter how annoying or frustrating it may be sometimes, she has to grade all their assignments, tests, and quizzes. Being a teacher, Mrs. Savela tells me that it is crucial to be a good communicator in order for her students to learn and understand the material she's teaching. The main forms of communication Mrs. Savela uses is email and face-to-face. Email is used most often to communicate with coworkers and fellow teachers, while her contact with students is mostly face-to-face. The main way she tells me that she executes good communication skills is by always being prepared ahead of time, so she knows what to say and do when she gets to class. Also, since she mainly works with 13 to 15-year-olds, she has to make sure she talks down to her level, meaning she talks in a language that is easily understood by all. In fact, because she is so often communicating in a lower level, she tells me that she sometimes has difficulty transitioning back to her normal speaking level when talking to her coworkers or other adults. Because she works in a small school, the largest group Mrs. Savela ever has to talk in front of is a class of about 25 students. And she tells me that she finds talking to students easy, while it can be a little bit more difficult at times to talk to her peers. The biggest difficulty Mrs. Savela faces when teaching is making sure that her students stay attentive and entertained. And she does this by making sure she has variation in her tone and that she makes her lessons interesting. She tells me that a monotone voice usually loses students' attention, while excitement in her voice keeps them listening much better. This is a good thing for all people to remember when doing any sort of public speaking ever. Lastly, she tells me she does a pretty even mix of both speaking and listening in her job in order to build a relationship with her students and to make sure she teaches them effectively. Now let's talk about her education level. Mrs. Savela currently has a bachelor's degree with some master credits. If she wanted to, she could continue her education to get a master's degree or a doctorate, which would require her to present a thesis. However, she would not have to do any communication training specific to public speaking. Also, in the past, she has done some small teacher workshops and other small teacher conferences, but like I said before, she has done no specific speaking or communication training because she finds speaking to students easy. In conclusion, I feel like I have benefited from this assignment by learning more in depth about what it takes to be a teacher beyond what I have seen as a student in class. I can now focus on heightening my communication skills by focusing on my delivery and making my information clear and easy to understand, as well as putting more effort into my preparation ahead of time. Mrs. Savela told me that the most important thing that she has learned as an English teacher is to always share her love of reading, and to make sure that she helps her students find books that they enjoy reading so that they can develop a love for reading as well. I feel like I am equipped for this job, and I am ready to inspire my future students just the same way Mrs. Savela has done for me.